Hello my friends and welcome. The show is over. Today we're gonna speak about the aftermath and also I'm gonna tell you about the recent update on the situation on the front lines. So indeed, Prigozhin had decided to stop his offensive towards Moscow. He turned around and already fled from the Rostov city. This happened after his conversation with the Belarus president, self-proclaimed President Lukashenko. In his statement, Prigozhin said that he don't want to make a bloodbath in Russia, but just before yesterday and this morning, he said that they gonna eliminate everyone on their way. So it's kind of strange excuse. He also said that according to the plan, they're going back to their camps, to the Wagner camps. But according to the recent uncover of the deal by Peskov, the secretary of Putin, Prigozhin personally should leave Russia for Belarus. All of the criminal accusations will be dropped from Prigozhin in that case. Also, Wagner soldiers themselves will not be accused for the attempted military coup. It is the strangest situation ever, and I think no one was able to predict it. I personally thought that Prigozhin burned down all of the bridges and there is no way for him to come back. This is the most recent photo of Prigozhin. He's going to Rostov airport, probably leaving Russia for Belarus. This is the video of him leaving the command headquarters in Rostov towards SUV and then to the airfield. It is a very strange trade as for me. Prigozhin with his army was 200 kilometers away from the Moscow. And my friends, it is not hoax that was staged by Putin. What we saw was actually happening. The Russian administration, the Russian management, including Putin, was afraid. They dig down the roads, they lost lots of the helicopters and one of the airplanes. Speaking about the casualties, according to the most recent report, Russia lost 15 of the pilots, 2 of the advanced attack helicopters, lots of the Mi-8 helicopters and surveillance airplane Ilyushin 18, on board of which 8 crew members were located. Plus, the majority of the Russian leads started to leave Moscow on their private jets, and it is not a very profitable situation for the Russian administration, let's say. Some of the pictures from Rostov that Wagners were there, and locals mostly supported the Wagner army. Those are the remains of the Russian K-52 helicopter. As you can see, it was totally demolished by the Wagner soldiers and all of the criminal accusations were lifted. Again, according to the information which is coming from Peskov, there were no any negotiations about Shoigu and Gerasimov. Those generals will continue to take their positions. If we check the reaction of the Russian people on the message from Prigozhin, then he said that the operation is over, this march is over and they're going back to their camps. You can see that people really did not support that move. So actually he got lots of the Russian supporters and they were almost sure that Prigozhin will take power and probably finish this war. People in Russia just got tired of Putin's regime, and even Prigozhin is something like a new breath for the Russian policy. And I personally also thought that Prigozhin is going to finish this war because before he recorded many videos that this war is for nothing. Well, many of the people just got disappointed, and again the outcome is terrible, especially for the Wagner group. Because I don't see the way how Prigozhin may influence the Wagner army being in Belarus. Can he try to make it again? Well, being in Belarus, it's not that easy, but he may try. But people will not support Prigozhin in that case because they supported, they believed in Prigozhin this time, and that reaction shows the great disappointment in Prigozhin's action from Russians. My friends, before we continue, let me tell you about the sponsor and the partner of my channel. It is the Atlas VPN. They have an astonishing deal that was done especially for my followers, where you can get the Atlas VPN Premium for just $170 per month. plus 6 months for free. It is the best deal on the market for the VPN services out there. There are some features I like the Atlas VPN about. The first one is security. They use the military standard grade 256-bit encryption. Most of the intelligence services use the same. They use IP version 6 and 4. Those are very strong protocols. What it gives me that I cannot be tracked and I cannot be found. Hey. Probably you know that English is not my native language, and sometimes I got asked how do I learn it. Well, actually I watch TV series. I like to watch the Friends series because they have lots of dialogues, so good to study English, but I cannot access those series on a Netflix platform from my country, so by changing my virtual location I can get the access for those series. And also Atlas VPN helped me with access to watch the Downfall movie available on a Netflix. It's about the Boeing 737 MAX crash investigation. My friends, and now please check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium with astonishing discount, where you pay just $170 per month and you'll get 6 months for free. As for the Putin personally, in this situation he looks like that. Lukashenko was able to negotiate and Putin actually fled Moscow. It was reported that he took the plane and moved to Valdai. This is one of the cities in Russia. Yet we are out of clue what details were negotiated between Lukashenko and Prigozhin. They were speaking all day long. But all the situation shows that Putin is weak, the Russian government is weak, and they are unable to secure themselves. And in general, 300 armored vehicles and around 4,000 men is enough to take the power in Moscow, potentially. Plus, I think that Prigozhin set up his own people from the Wagner army and the Russians who supported that movement, because there will be no changes in Russia. His main goal was the march for justice, and they want to change something in Russia. It's better to say wanted to change, and I guess that the ordinary soldiers also believed in that bullshit. But the main idea for their march was the personal security guarantees for Prigozhin and also for other Wagner commanders. Well, Russia promised not to touch the other Wagnerites, the ordinary soldiers, but I have doubts about it. Maybe the Russian army command will force them to sign agreement and contract with the Russian army, but for now they are not saying so. Also, there is the other variant why Prigozhin decided to stop his military coup, because no one from the Russian elite officially openly supported Prigozhin on his way to Moscow, unlike the ordinary Russians who mostly supported him. 100% he would be able to take the power in Russia, but for how long? In that case, the Russian command might have withdrawn around 100,000 soldiers from Ukrainian war and trap Prigozhin in Moscow. In that case, he would be doomed, and now he secured his own personal life and lives of the Wagner soldiers. Maybe it's this way out. The Russian special forces went in search for Prigozhin's place in St. Petersburg. There is the Wagner Center, and they found documents for Bobrov Vladimir Vasilievich with Prigozhin's picture, and also they found Prigozhin Evgeny Viktorovich, but there is the other face. It could be the other commander of the Wagner forces. Again, many passports and documents here. Bobrov Vladimir Vasilievich, so maybe Prigozhin is not even Prigozhin. The Russian online shops reopened sales with the Wagner logo on them, and just several hours ago everything with the Wagner logo was banned. One of the most interesting stuff was around Kadyrov forces today. They were close to Rostov, at least they reported that, and they also reported that they stuck in the traffic jam. You can see the video. One of the soldiers filming the convoy. The convoy is really long, but actually they're not stuck. There is the other way for them to move forward. It's the military convoy. They can proceed. Now that the situation is resolved, there is the question, are they still there standing? Are they in Rostov or are they going home? Actually, Kadyrov took part of his army from Marinka, Ukrainian front lines. And here you can see the video how Russians are standing, civilians are standing at the train station, and you can see that they're in panic. It happened this afternoon. They thought that there will be the fight between Kadyrovites and Wagner, and they will be in the middle. That is what we experienced being civilians in Ukraine when Russia started this war. Many of people tried to leave their homes. I myself also left the home with my kid, with my family, and it was terrible. Those Russians had just part of the experience today. According to the deep state military map, Wagners went to Lipetsk Oblast, over here near to the Lipetsk town, and till Moscow, well, you can say that there is 200 kilometers. Even though we got lots of the messages saying that Wagners are in the Moscow region already, but definitely they were much further away, and let's measure the distance from this place to Moscow, 351 kilometers. But Prigozhin personally say that they were around 200 kilometers away, and it is somewhere over there in Tula Oblast. As for the frontline updates, we have some sort of the good news. Ukraine continue its move from Novodanilivka, and it was yesterday, it is today. So we're very close to Robotine, or it's better to say Robotine village. Over here we also moved in this area. It was yesterday and it is today. We're getting close to Priyutne. Again, Russians and Kadyrovites have to take their forces out from Marinka, so we expect some sort of the movement in that area as well. Also, the commander of the 3rd Assault Brigade today stated that Ukraine took control over some territories near to Bakhmut. Ukraine hasn't started the massive counterattack using the situation in Russia, and it was the smart move. The Russian command still was able to perform their duties over there, and even though the military airfield was under control by the Wagner soldiers, the aviation was flying to bomb Ukrainian territory. There was also the information that Ukrainian forces landed somewhere in Aleshki near to Antonovsky Bridge, crossing the Dnieper River. This information has not yet been confirmed, and we don't have the military map update. Well, because of the chaotic situation really with Prigozhin and his march, there were lots of the misinformations published on the Telegram channels, in mass media resources, so it's really hard to confirm the information without video, audio or photo evidence. The Russian Ministry of Defense called this day as the United Day for the Russian warriors. I think they used a different picture. They should have used this picture. United as never before. We don't care about the Russian pilots. Just enjoy the United Day. This could be also the symbol of the Wagner assault, the stacked Russian tank near to Circus. Definitely it is the banner for Circus, and here is the tank. Yeah. Still, in general, the situation with the Wagner attempted military coup is profitable for Ukraine. It shows the deep crack in the Russian regime. Indeed, Russia was just one step away from the total collapse, because Kadyrov would cut his piece of land, being the local Tsar in Chechnya and maybe also in Dagestan. I think that Shoigu and Gerasimov will secure their positions, so they will be even stronger than before. They are in lack of the competence, so their command may be profitable for Ukrainian side, but they are, together with Putin, are stupid, crazy fools, so they may use some weaponry that may destroy lots of the human lives, as they did destroying the dam in Novakhovka. But as for the military achievements, there is no way that Russia will take more territories as Wagner did taking the Bakhmut city. The one more plus, I estimate Wagner forces will not fight in Ukraine any longer. You saw the limited version of